Hello everyone, welcome to the another video. Yesterday I talked about neural networks. I gave little bit insight of neural networks, a basic subfield of artificial intelligence and deep learning. So I explained and defined neural networks. So let's briefly define neural networks here also. So neural networks is basically rather a groups of artificial neurons and their networks that leverage the machine learning or artificial intelligence algorithms to mimic the human neurons and to do better works or better problem solving approach than traditional classical computers. So it's a basic subset or subfield of the field of artificial intelligence and deep learning more precisely. Now it uses the basic machine learning algorithms like decision tree algorithms, like Bayesian algorithms, like other algorithms. There are so many algorithms actually to mimic the human brain and solve the more and more complicated problems rather in the fields of engineering or today's society, in physics and chemistry also. So it's quantum computing analog, that is quantum neural network, uses the basic foundations of quantum mechanics and quantum computing and adds into this approach. Now there are so many types of neural networks. So I'll be talking about so many major classifications or major key aspects or key categories rather of these neural networks, and I'll explain one type of neural network rather, convolutional neural networks, a little bit in this video. Now among all other classifications, I'll point out 6 major categories of neural networks, which are: number 1, convolutional neural networks, deconvolutional neural networks, recurrent neural networks, feed-forward neural networks, modular neural networks, and generative adversarial neural networks. So these are 6 major categories of neural networks that basically leverage the machine learning techniques or machine learning algorithms like linear regression, K-means algorithm, clustering algorithm, Bayesian algorithms, logistic regressions algorithms, or decision tree machine learning algorithms and other machine learning algorithms to mimic the human brain artificially and to solve the major and more complicated problems in the fields of engineering and physics, and somewhere in chemistry also. In today's world, in chemistry, quantum computing or quantum machine learning, quantum artificial intelligence, quantum neural networks, and other fields are basically boosting the chemical physics field. Now, so all 6 neural networks that I pointed out are having a very major role in the fields of engineering. Now let's talk about convolutional neural network. As I have told, I will explain one neural network, convolutional neural network, in this video. So before going to the explanation of a brief explanation rather of convolutional neural networks, let's portray the neural networks little bit. Now neural networks basically have multi-layer, mainly there are 3 layers: the input layer, the hidden layers, and the output layers. Now the input layer, in the input layers, the inputs are given to the neurons and it basically tries to detect the patterns, try to understand the patterns and recognize the inputs, and then it transfers the data, the inputs rather, more precisely to the hidden layers. Now the hidden layers basically transfers all the inputs into the output layers after doing some types of magic in it. Now the output layer basically gives the output, the true value, and the errors also we can calculate from that. So this is the minimal understanding of the neural network. Who doesn't understand in the neural network, they can one can understand from this thing. It's a minimal understanding. Now, in the convolutional neural network, which is one category to other of neural networks, it's basically a multi-layer perceptron. Now, this convolutional neural network is it has multi-layers. Okay, now these multi-layers can be either pooled or interconnected. Like I have said, in neural network there are input layers, output layers, and in between there are hidden layers, so they are connected, maybe pooled. So in convolutional neural network, it can either be pooled or it can be interconnected. Now, this is a multi-layered perceptron. So what is the beauty of convolutional neural network is that in the input layer, basically when the inputs are given. So what are the inputs? So as I have explained in case of neural network, it basically tries to it basically leverages the machine learning algorithms to mimic the human brain artificially, right? So it mimic the properties or activities of the neurons artificially. Now when it tries to what do neurons do? They basically, the eyes basically see something, and it basically sends a message to the neurons. That is the input. Right, in case of human brain, that is the input, that pulse, and in that pulse and that input layer input in the neuron that tries to understand the visual impact or visual input rather, and tries to basically tries to distinguish the feature. Now in case of convolutional neural network also, it has multiple it may have multiple convolutional layers and other things. So in this case, the input basically tries to trace rather or detect the visual patterns in a particular visual input and tries to separate it from the other things, and then that input basically is transferred to the hidden layer, and the magic happens. All sorts of things happen there, and then it is transferred to the output layer, and the outputs are given. Now this convolutional neural network basically, that is the output that gives us the understanding or sense that something has happened, that we have seen something. So artificially it can trace something is happening out there in the problem, and it can trace the output. So that can be understood like this, and this is a very easy thing. Now this convolutional neural network is very much helpful in AI powered visual generated things like facial recognition, like optical character recognition rather, natural language processing also, natural language recognition also. So other things. So this is the convolutional neural network that is behind the facial recognition in your smartphones, in your PCs, in your computers. That so in your smartphones, many people can see they have the facial unlock system. So the actual thing in that facial unlock system is the convolutional neural network working in between in the back of the screen. So that is the convolutional neural network, CNN. That is the beauty of a subset of artificial intelligence that is making your face able to unlock your device so that it can be secured. It won't take others' face. So if you lock your face out there. So this is the so ultimate thing behind all those things are basically natural, rather convolutional neural networks. Now in Google, in other browsers, Chrome browsers, you will see there's an option of basically of searching the inputs, or searching anything, rather more precisely in easier language, on the basis of by saying something. Okay, so there's a listening option in the Google or other things. So it can be, so when you say something, it can detect something, and it searches along the way on the Google or on any other Chrome browser or other Chrome browser also. In Google I have seen it. Now the actual beauty behind this thing is the convolutional neural network, or natural language generation, or natural language recognition. So it can recognize the language that you are talking about or you're saying, and it leverages the machine learning techniques or neural networks more precisely here to detect your language, and it is converting into some words that there is natural language generation. Then naturally it is the language is being generated, and the output is coming along the way by the use of convolutional neural network, or people say this is artificial intelligence thing. Now the more precisely, this is the convolutional neural network, the neural network that is a subset of the artificial intelligence field, that is basically generating all those data, or giving you the output, and you can easily search something by saying into the system. So that's very beautiful concept of convolutional neural network. Well, so I have explained this thing. You can understand this convolutional neural network, or CNN, a very important category of the neural networks, subfield of subset of artificial intelligence. And I'll be so I hope you have understood a little bit, or you can understand a little bit from this video. And I'll be talking about the other classifications of neural network in my next video. Till then, thank you.